In this tutorial you will learn how to interact with objects in Unreal Engine 5. For all examples I will use the third-person template. If you don't have a project yet, create one. First thing we do is creating a door that we have something to interact with. Zoom in a bit, in the left top corner click the selection mode and change it to modeling. Now select a box and place it in your level. Leave width at 100, change depth to 4 and height to 200. Click to accept it. Now we have basic door, but the origin of object aka pivot is in the middle, which is wrong for rotation. In left menu under transform you can see option pivot. Select it. Now move it to left side. We want to move it for 50 units, so be sure you have grid snapping turned on with appropriate scale. Accept changes and switch back to selection mode. You can use this method of changing the pivot for any object you import in Unreal Engine. Right click to your new door and select first option, browse the asset. Rename it to door, move it to content folder so we can find it later, and follow it. Now open it. Change default material, type wood. I like oak material the most, so I select this one. Close it and delete your door from the level. Create new folder. I name it additional logic. Inside right click and under blueprints select blueprint interface. Name it I_interactable and open it. Name first function interact and compile. Now let's create a blueprint for our door. Go to content and create a new folder, interactable objects. Inside right click, blueprint class and select actor and name it BP_door. We want door to be able to change statuses, so right click and under blueprints select enumeration. Name it EN_door status and open it. Add two enumerators. First one name closed because that will be default status of our door. Second one name open. Close it and open door blueprint. Click the class settings and on the right side go to interfaces and add our interface I_interactable. On the left you can see that was edit interface with its functions. Now under components add new static mesh. In details change it to our door mesh. Double-click to interact to implement this function. Add a new variable, name it status and change its type to our enumerator door status. Drag in a reference and find switch on. After we interact we want to immediately change its value, so drag in status and choose set this time. Duplicate it. If door was closed, now it's open, so change first set to open and connect pins appropriately. For animation we use the timeline, which is the best way how to animate static mesh. So at timeline, I name it door mechanics and open it. Change length to 0.5 and add float drag. Name it door Z rotation. Right click and add a new key. Set its time to 0 and leave value at 0. Add another key, change its time to 0.5 and change value to -90. Go back to event graph and connect set open to play and set close to reverse. Drag in reference to static mesh. Out of it find set relative rotation and connect it with update. Right click the new rotation and select split structure pin. Connect door Z rotation to new rotation Z. That's all for this door, so hit compile. Now we have the interact function, but we also need to initiate it. So go to content folder, third person and blueprint. Here open third person character blueprint. First of all, go to viewport, select camera boom and change its Z location to 100. Now we will see right at the object we want to interact with, and it will be right in the middle of the screen. Create a new function and name it raycast, because that is what we will use. For those who don't know what raycast is, it's based on creating a tracing line. If it hits target, you will get information about it that you can use further. Drag out execute pin and find line trace by channel. Drag in camera boom and follow camera. Out of camera boom, get word location. This is start point of our line trace, so connect it to start. Out of follow camera, get word rotation. And out of it, get forward vector. Now we have the rotation vector right, but its length is 1. So, add a new variable which will represent the length of our line trace. I name it trace length. Change its type to float and hit compile so we can set its default value. For me, 500 works the best, but set it as you need. Drag in our new float reference and multiply it with forward vector. Now it's right according to rotation, but we also must move it according to location. We achieve this by summarizing it with the location of our starting point. Connect it to end. To we can see it works right, click the draw debug type and select for duration. Expand options and set it to 2 seconds because 5 is too much in my opinion. Add a return node after the line trace execution pin and drag into it out hit so we can use it as we need later. Hit compile. This is all for raycast function. Now let's finally create a function that will allow us to interact. I will use basic input because enhanced input is a topic for another video. Go to event graph and find some space below default functions. Right click, type keyboard, scroll down to E key and select it. After pressed, add raycast function. Drag out hit, select break hit result and expand it. Here you can see all sort of information about the object we hit. Drag out hit actor pin, find interact function of our interface and connect it after raycast. Using interfaces is great because you don't have to do checks if our target has this interface implemented, or it does but this function isn't. No errors, no warnings, simply nothing wrong happens. Hit compile and go to level preview. From time to time save whole project because when Unreal crashes, not everything is saved by autosaves. Go to Interactable Objects folder and drag in door blueprint so we can test it and hit play. Go to door and press E key. You can see door works as intended and you also see our line is traced correctly. Interact with door again and you can see it closes. If I look at door from wrong angle, I have a problem to interact with it. So it would be nice to show players when they can interact. And that is exactly what we're gonna do next. Go to folder content and create a new folder, widgets. In it, right click and under user interface select widget blueprint. Here you have only one option, so select it. Name it WBP_HUD and open it. In left menu under panel, drag in canvas panel and from above drag in text. Scale it up a bit. Now move to the right menu. Here in anchors select alignment to center. Change alignment for first value to 0.5. Set position X to 0 and position Y to 100. Also change justification to middle and delete default text. Rename it to tb_info and check it as variable. Now go to the event graph. In left menu you can see our new variable, which means we can work with it further. Create a new function and name it setInfoText. Drag in reference to our text box. Out of it search for set text and select highlighted option under content. Connect it and drag the left pin of text to start node of function. This way we don't have to search for appropriate type of input variable. Click the start node of function and change name of input variable to text info to show. That's all for this widget, so hit compile and open our interface. Here, add a new function and name it showInfo. This function will take care of telling HUD what to display to the player. To manage it, we must add input, name it HUD, and set type to our widget blueprint HUD. Compile and go to the door blueprint. Here you can see our new function was added, so double click to implement it. Copy switch with status reference, insert it after function start and connect it. Drag out HUD pin and search for setInfoText and duplicate it. Connect target pin of copy to HUD. First setInfoText to closed and second one to open. When door is closed we want to see command to open it, and when it's opened we want to see command to close it. So I type the first one, press E to open door, and to the second one, press E to close door. You type what suits you best. That's all for the door blueprint, so hit compile and move to third person character blueprint. First of all, move up and find event begin play. Go to its end and out of execution bin of its last node, find create widget. Here, select class of our widget HUD blueprint. Drag out return value pin, promote it as variable and name it HUD. We want it as variable because we will work with it further. Drag out pin of HUD set, which represents get node, and find add to viewport. Now our HUD is set up, so move under interact event, where we have enough space to work. Create new event and name it loop for info. Here we use similar approach as in interact event. So at raycast, break hit result, and out of hit actor search for show info. Drag in reference to our HUD variable and connect it to show info. We could update it every tick, but it seems to me unnecessary often. Instead of that, add a delay. 0.2 seconds is enough for me. If we close the loop now, text will change, but we need to also clear the text when we are not looking at the interactable object. For better clarity, create a new function and name it clear HUD. Here, just add HUD reference, find setInfoText, and connect it with execution pin of start node. Go back to event graph and add it after delay. Now connect it with raycast at start to create loop. I also adjust the lines so it looks better. Infinite loop is not good, so you can add branch with some condition before raycast, but this will work for this example. We also need to do the initial call. So go to the end of begin play and add there call to loop for info. We know that raycast works, so go into it and set draw debug type to none. Hit compile and let's test it. If this video helped you, feel free to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe. If you want or need to learn more about interaction, check follow-up parts of this series. In part 2 you will learn how to interact with pickable items and add it to the player. In part 3 you will learn how to interact with module parts of your level. That's all for this video, so see you in the next one.